guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, today I have a cute little card for you. This one is using two different stamp sets. One is actually a bundle, the Happy Hedgehogs, and that's to make this little guy here, and a celebration item, which is Awesome Otters, and you can get this stamp set free with a $50 order. So I thought I'd pair these two together because I thought they looked real cute together. So if you'd like to stamp along with me, just look down in the video description below and click on that blog post link. When you get there, you'll find the dimensions and the supply list, and then you can come back and make the card with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the stamp set and everything that you need to make the card. We've got the Happy Hedgehogs Bundle. This is in the January to June mini catalog. Let me see if I can get this in the light. There we go. So you can build a hedgehog with this punch. Such a cute set. Now, if you're stamping along with me, you're going to need this hedgehog here. And the Find a Friend is the best discovery of all. And this beautiful flower tree type thing. So those are the stamps that you'll need, and the punch, of course. And here is that celebration set I told you about that you get free with a $50 order, and that's before shipping and tax. And the stamp that you're going to want to use, we're just going to use this little guy right here. But aren't they cute? I love this little guy holding the fish. He looks so happy. Now I am going to use some dies. These are the layering circles dies, and the one I'm going to use is the largest one. And these are in the, if I can get a hold of it, and these are in the annual catalog. And we'll need one more punch. This one is the Label Me Fancy punch. Let me get that in the light too. There we go. And this one's also in the annual catalog. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, normally I start with stamping, but we only have one thing we need to die cut, so let's go ahead and get that done. And plus I need a die cut before I start stamping anyway. So we've got the base platform. This is how you get your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine ready for die cutting. The die plate number 2. We need to grab a standard cutting plate number 3. And then you need a piece of basic white cardstock. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 inch piece. Then we'll grab that big circle die. This was the largest circle die in the layering circles. Put another standard cutting plate right on top and run it through. And I know it's hard to believe, but that is the only thing we need to die cut. So we'll go ahead and get this out of the way and get the card, and we'll start stamping. Okay, first off, for our stamping, let's go ahead and grab that circle that we just did. Grab your Tuxedo Memento ink pad, and Tuxedo Black Memento pad, that is. And we're going to ink our little otter up. And I'm going to twist this just a little bit because I think it inks the image up a lot better when I do that. Sometimes when I tap, it doesn't ink it very well. I don't know why. It just seems to work better for me that way. Then we're going to stamp this little guy over on the right. Hold it down for a few seconds. There we go. And I like how we've got that nice dark impression of him. Okay, now that we've got this little guy, let's go ahead and do our Granny Apple Green ink pad. And I want you to grab that little grass stamp. And we're going to put some grass underneath him. Just and put different little spaces. I'm not really lining them up. I'm almost kind of making little triangles. Because it looks good. We don't want him just on empty space, do we? Okay, so now I thought, okay, well, it needs a little more than just that. So let's go ahead and, oh, don't know why I'm closing this. I'm going to grab a blending brush and pick up some green. Starting off of the cardstock, because it ends up making it darker when you first put it down. Then you can go across and it gives you more of an even look. Add a little more ink. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit more even. There we go. So now the grass looks a little more filled in. So we're going to be coloring him in, but let's go ahead and get some more stamping done. Let's grab our Early Espresso ink pad. And I want you to grab another piece, just scrap piece of basic white. This is to do your hedgehog. So we'll grab him, and I'm going to stamp him over to the right. It's going to make it a little easier for me when I do the punch. Now we're going to look at the punch here. You can see how it's going this way. That's why I'm going to put him on the right, so that way it's easier to hold onto him this way. So we will take this and stamp him. And while we've got him out, grab a scrap piece of crumb cake cardstock. Move this over, and we're going to stamp him one more time, and you will understand why here in just a minute. Okay, so now we've got him twice. Now before we punch him out, we're going to color him in. So I'm grab my light crumb cake blend And just down here at the bottom, and maybe go up a little bit past that, we're going to color him in. Doesn't take long at all. The nice thing with blends, don't use too much pressure. That way you don't hurt your brush tip. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've got him all colored in. While we're coloring, let's go ahead and finish this little guy here. I've got my light crumb cake still out. I'm going to have his tummy to be the light crumb cake. So we will just color him in like so. These are super quick and easy to color in. Okay. And if I want anything to be a little darker, I can just add a little more crumb cake and it'll give me a little more shading. So now we're going to grab the dark crumb cake and do the rest of his body. So this one I'm not doing a lot of blending, but I wanted the two different shades. That's what I love about our blends too, having the two different shades. So you can do it this way too. And I think you get a nicer look when you use these blends because you don't get the lines that you get with markers. Now I still use my markers for other things. I still use those a lot. But when I don't want to have a line look, I'll go with my blends. Isn't he adorable? Now there are a couple of lines here. I'm going to go back over again just to make them a little darker for some shading. And that looks pretty good. So he's all done, except for his nose. Oops, I almost forgot about his nose. So I'm using my light basic black Stampin' Blend. The dark one, you wouldn't be able to see those lines that are in the stamp. So I went ahead and used the light one so you can see those still. Okay, we are all done coloring. Now we're going to grab that punch with the hedgehog. Now with this guy, we only want the top part of him. So I'm going to use this one here. So we are going to line this up. I'm going to angle it to me so I can see what I'm doing. And you'll be able to see. So all I am punching is the top part of his furry part, I guess we could say. Punch that. So this is what we're going to hold on to. This we'll just throw away because it's just the partial. Then we are going to punch him out completely. So he's going to get punched out on this side. So let me get this lined up and then I will show you. There we go. The trick is to get all those little humps in the right spot too. So he's all ready to go. Punch him out. And now you see why I had you coloring beforehand, because there's not much to hold on to. I guess you could hold on to here. So if you did punch him out early, you're fine. You can still make that work. And then I'm going to put this right on top like so. I just thought that makes him look a little more real, I guess. He still looks like he's a stamped image, of course, but I think he looks cute doing it that way. I like having layers. I think it makes the card look better. Oops, get this going again. I'm getting on the end of my seal. We'll see if we make it through the video without me having to put a refill in. Put this right on here. I'm going to line his ears up. So his ears inside that little opening. And the reason I had you go up a little bit higher, and that's the nice thing about, well, no, I've got it. I can take this off the first 10 minutes with the seal and be able to realign it, but it looks pretty good. So some of his little hairs are showing, so I wanted to make sure those were still colored in with the crumb cake, so I didn't have any white space. So isn't he adorable? Okay, so we will put these two guys to the side. Let's go ahead and get the other stamping done while we're at it, and then we can put the rest of it together. Grab your petal pink piece. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. Let me get this punch out of the way. Don't need that anymore. And grab your petal pink ink pad and this real pretty flower image here. I decided instead of embossing, I'm going to do something I used to do before Stampin' Up had a die cutting machine. Yes, I've been a demonstrator that long. There was a time we didn't have a die cutting machine. I'm going to stamp this right here. And this is an old trick we all used to do. You stamp the same color ink on the, you use the same color ink as the cardstock. There we go. So I'm going to make a little border down here. Just go kind of different ways. So I'm kind of making my own little designer series paper too. Oops. Make it just so it's not a plain piece of pink cardstock. Now I'm not going to worry about doing this middle part because we're going to be covering that up. So I'm going to make sure I've got some flowers up here. Now I don't want to go too far down here, so we're going to go up here. I don't want to cover up my other flowers. There we go. Oops, I just got pink on my thumb. Hopefully that won't mess up anything. I'll put this one down. Okay, now you'll see. I know it looks kind of funny right now, but it's going to look just fine once we start putting this together. And we'll put this to the side. We need to stamp the greeting. So I grabbed a scrap piece of petal pink. And we're going to grab that greeting that finding a friend is the best discovery of all. So our hedgehog and otter just met each other. So we're going to stamp this in early espresso. Stamp it right here. Oops. It's flying everywhere. And then I'm using that fancy, Label Me Fancy punch. And we'll just put this in here. I'm going to angle it to me again so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Punch that out. And the one last thing that we need to stamp is the inside of the card. So grab your 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white. And I decided to do this pretty floral image. You could put the hedgehog down here if you wanted to also. But I didn't want to, or the otter, and I didn't want to color anything. I just thought I'd make it quick. So I'm going to take my petal pink. And I think this looks really pretty. I love petal pink with crumb cake. It's one of my favorite combos. So we're going to put this just right here on the left side. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And then that will just go on the inside of the card. So all the stamping's done. So we can get this out of the way, and we're going to put this card together. You're going to grab a piece of crumb cake. This is the card base, 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to fold it in half, line up those corners. Those of you that watch my videos, I say that every time I fold my cards. We've got that on there. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put this layers on here first. We're going to grab a piece of Pattern Party DSP. DSP is Designer Series paper. This is a host exclusive paper pack. It's in the annual catalog. It is wonderful. I mean, it's a stack about this thick. I can't remember how many designs are in it, how many you get of each, but it's nice. I love the colors in it. This one happens to be a 4 by, let's take that back, 4 1/4 by 3. And we're going to put this right in the center of our card, of the petal pink, that is. And the neat thing about the Designer Series paper set is that one side has the color patterns, the other side has black and white. So if you're doing a black and white card, or if you want to, you can add color with blending brushes. There's just so many different things you can do with this paper pack. And if you want this, you have to place at least a $150 order to get Stampin' Rewards. And then you'll get, you can pick the Pattern Party paper, DSP, as your host, with your host dollars. There we go. So we've got this one on there. I get to making stuff and get tongue-tied trying to remember what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you have to concentrate when you put cards together, don't you? So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to put this on like this. It's going to go right across the middle before I attach it. Make sure it looks like it's in the middle, and it does. Get it straight. And I, don't see any paper hanging on the outside, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card base. Sometimes if the DSP is a little too long, all you have to do is turn it over and snip off what's hanging over, and that's a lot easier to do before you put it on the card base. So that's why when I have something going from edge to edge, I put it on before I put it on the card base. So now we've got that on there. Let's grab, this card comes together really quick. We're going to do the little circle with our little otter, getting my animals mixed up here. And we're going to attach him right in the center. I'm just going to lay him down before I put it down completely. And put him a little bit more. That looks good. Okay, push him down. And now we're going to put our little hedgehog guy on, but I'm going to put him on with dimensionals. I thought he needed to be popped up a little bit. So I'm going to put 2 here on the bottom. Oops, and 1 on the top. Take your pick tool to get the paper backing off. And then we're going to put him down here. I'm going to have him cover up the otter's little tail, but that's okay. Okay, so now we've got them on there. Grab our label. And I just said I almost popped up the greeting. So if you want to do that, go right ahead and add dimensionals. But I wanted the only thing to be popped up to be my little hedgehog. And then this is going to go over here. Make sure that it doesn't go off the edge of the card base. It's okay if it goes over the edge of the petal pink a little bit. Okay, and I thought, oh, it needs something more. It's awful cute, but it needed a little more. So I'm going to use the brushed brass butterflies. I have used these quite often. I really like them. And I'm going to use one of each size. So we're going to, actually, one of the large, and then we're going to use two of the little ones. So I'm going to put a little one down here and another little one right here. Yeah, I think this looks good. So we've got the front of the card done. Isn't that cute? These guys are just adorable. Now we're going to put that piece that we decorated for the inside. Boy, this is almost out. I'm having a little trouble with it working. There we go. But we made it because this is the last thing we have to put on here. I thought I was going to have to put a refill in it. Okay. There we go. But doesn't that crumb cake and pale pink look really good together? I'm getting out of the screen. Sorry about that. So there is the finished card. So this was the Happy Hedgehogs Bundle, and this is the Awesome Otters Stamp Set that's free with a $50 order. So I hope you enjoyed this card, and if you'd like to stamp with me again, please click that subscribe button below and then click on the bell that pops up and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I do a video and you won't miss any. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator for your own, I would love to be yours. And here I've got some catalogs here for you. This is the annual catalog, the January to June mini catalog, and Sale-A-Bration. This is where the Otter set is at that you can get for free, plus some other things that are free. And to find out more about Sale-A-Bration, because there are other ways to get free stuff during Sale-A-Bration, and it ends February 28th of 2022, just click on that Sale-A-Bration link down below in the video description, find out all about it, and don't miss the best deal. Just scroll down the page and look at the best deal, because you won't want to miss it. So I will be happy to send out your first set of catalogs to you for free if you do not have a demonstrator of your own and you live in the United States. Well, here's the card one more time. Thank you so much for watching my video and stamping with me. And please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. I really do appreciate it. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.